With Mark Douglas, the creator of the LA Soul Music Festival. How are you today?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Thank you so much for putting this on for lovers of real singers, real players, and real songs. We can't get enough of it, and LA's got so much going on, but as we all know, everybody's chasing the new act or the this and that, but you've created something unique out here with the blend of not only great proven artists, but an incredible environment out here in Griffith Park. You're close to the freeways, close to Hollywood, close to downtown, close to Burbank and the Valley. What was the process of putting this whole thing together? How long did it take you?
Kind of kicked it off officially in September of 2016, so we put about 9 months into it. Started trying to book the acts early and trying to get out in front of it. So yeah, we put, I would say, the better part of a year.
Okay. Okay, great. And what were the challenges in putting something like this together, as far as finding a location that would work and, you know, finding your media partners and stuff to really get the word out in a crowded market like this?
You know, I think the biggest challenge of putting something like this together, I'm a recent transplant to LA, so I didn't know the lay of the land, the politics, the who's nots and whatnots of getting things done in the city. So that was one of the early challenges, is learning the landscape and who to deal with. The venue was relatively easy. I come here to the Archery Museum for a number of different things, and they were very amenable to it. It was a very easy process, you know, and so that part was done early on. The other challenges was that there were a couple of other festivals that had gone dormant that sprung back up from the time that I actually booked the venue and started booking talents. In the time that I announced the event, they came back on, so all of a sudden the space got somewhat crowded. So, you know, other than that, everything was pretty much straight ahead. Booking talent is consistent, you know, they're available or they're not sure, they get back to you slow. You're sitting there waiting, a little bit nervous, and I really want to get that person, they would make it great, but, you know, so just that whole process. But it was fun. I was able to get a really good crew to help me put this event together. I called down some of my resources from the Bay Area to help do the actual technical production and whatnot, so.
Yeah. I guess in a way, being new to the market kind of helps in a way, because you're not stuck in all the politics and all that. Coming in as the new guy, you know, you're kind of coming from left field anyway. So in a way, you don't have to fit in. As long as the people show up, that's the bottom line, you know.
I think that, you know, people appreciate good music, and I don't know that it matters so much who is doing it. Like, I go for the product, I don't necessarily go for the brand. And I think in a situation like this, brand has some value because they trust it, but ultimately, who's on stage, what are they doing is the most important question. So
yeah, good ticket price. And tell us about Airborne Tickets. I know that's a new venture for you. What did you see as far as a niche in that world?
Well, what Airborne Tickets was originally, it was an entertainment, ticketing, and consulting business. So I was in the Bay Area. I owned a nightclub. I started helping friends who owned venues in the Bay Area book their talent, because I also booked talent in my venue. Well, that turned into about 50 clients, then 100 clients, then 150 clients, where I became more of a booker than a ticket seller. So then I moved to LA, was here somewhat dormant for a couple of years, but then just all of my skills I developed from running the club, knowing about liquor, booking talent, they all kind of came into play in putting this event together. So all of the skills I had developed over a 10-15 year period just were kind of perfect for this venture. So.
Yeah. Well, I think in a lot of ways the concert business has gotten so corporate, you know, with Live Nation and of course AEG being, you know, one of their only competitors, that I think a lot of people are kind of tired of the corporateness of that, you know, promoter and the rising prices to park and the tickets and the corporate nature. And I think finding a venue like this where you have free parking, where it's kind of a destination here, you know, being out in the park. It's not your normal venue. You're not in a parking lot. You know, you're in a nice park with, like I say, easily accessible areas and good ticket prices. So I think in that regard, people will embrace you and support the underdog.
We definitely wanted to create something that was consumer friendly. Like, I want it to be a cool event. I want it to be something that people look forward to. I want it to be something that I would spend my money on. And so that's kind of my standard of measuring what's cool, or at least what's cool for me. I don't like overpaying for mediocrity.
Yeah.
I like paying for a product and getting what I pay for. I don't mind spending the money, just give me what I paid for. So that's what we're looking to accomplish. So we put a lot into the production of this show. We want it to be stimulating to your senses, visually, auditorily, and whatnot. So
Yeah.
I think we did accomplish that. Future years growth, we want to focus on some of the other areas, food service, the ticketing, and just make the whole experience an A+ all the way around. So.
Sure. I mean, you got like a concert stage and lighting up there, so this quality of production, in a nice park environment like this is definitely a treat. Now, as far as advice you've kind of been able to glean through your years in the business, what do you tell talent coming up? Because obviously you're talking about veteran artists here on the bill. To aspire to that seems to be harder than ever, with the changes in radio and retail and record companies and all that. What advice do you have for talent that's coming up today to hopefully be the veteran artist of the future?
I think the main thing is don't listen to anybody else. Do not let anyone else's opinion, regardless of where they are in the industry or where you perceive them in the industry, it's their opinion. No one is going to value you like you value you. So as long as you keep your opinion of yourself at the forefront, you'll be fine. No one else controls your destiny other than you. And so if you can keep that front of mind, top of mind, things will fall in place.
Well, that's exciting because, before the record companies kind of had a monopoly, and, to go to BET or to go to retail or go to radio, you had to deal with all the gatekeepers. But now, ultimately, as long as you can build your fan base, you don't need all those. And like you say, you can really be unique and, be a force to be reckoned with in the future without all those middlemen.
Well, good thing for me is I don't know about them. I'm self-taught with everything I've done, so I don't know the industry norms. I don't know the industry people. I just figure out what I want to do, and I figure out how to do it. If you met my team, we are an eclectic bunch from all over the place, and we just figure out a way to make it happen. So far, it's been really working out well for us.
And in closing, we've lost so many pillars of our industry in the last year. Maurice White, and of course, David Bowie and Prince took us all by surprise. Being so young and knowing that he was not a heavy partier. What can you say about the talent that Prince was, and what will obviously his music will live on, but what a hole that's been left in the creative world?
It's really hard to quantify that in a statement. His influence, his creativity, all of the bands he's produced, funded, opened doors for, toured with. I think it'll still be a few years before we can kind of wrap our heads around the full scope of it. But you don't get much better than Prince. You don't get much better than David Bowie.
Yeah. We need more of these in the future.
Yeah.